Title Update 1 is the first version of Minecraft that launched to the public on the Xbox 360, immediately beginning a legacy. However, it's not actually the first Minecraft console version that launched. Leaked console files, old promotional footage, and the insecurity of old Xboxes all tell us the story of a much older Minecraft Xbox 360 that never saw the light of day and didn't even call itself the console edition. Today, we'll be exploring those older versions, and if you enjoy this sort of deep dive into Minecraft Xbox 360, I guarantee that you'll enjoy subscribing to the channel. But first, I need to clarify that Minecraft Java had a very public development, which means you can go back and see the oldest versions of the game and how even the planks used to look different, but this is much harder to see for Minecraft Xbox 360 because it launched with TU1. But actually, did it? You see, TU1, Title Update 1, was actually an update that came out on day 1 alongside the game, meaning that if you downloaded the game, you could theoretically choose to uninstall that update immediately and go back to Title Update 0. The answer is simple and actually commonplace for the time, and even with some games to this day, because if you want to release a game on a console, you actually need to finish at least a month or two before the game goes out. That's because you need it to be certified by the platform holder, and so for a game to release in, say, May of 2012, you need to finish making it in April of 2012. And you could sit around doing nothing in the meantime, or you could bridge this with a day 1 update, and that's exactly what Title Update 1 was. And so the most far back version of Minecraft is not TU1, but actually this earlier, say April 2012 version, Title Update 0. Wow, is that the earliest version of Minecraft? Well, yes and no. You see, this is actually just the earliest version of Minecraft that anyone can legitimately play to this day, but it's not the earliest version that exists. And I'm not referring to some hypothetical internal development version, but instead I'd like to bring your attention to Game Developers Conference. This is a big yearly show where game developers meet up, and because 4J were on this hot project at the time, they figured that they should go and bring an early version of Minecraft Xbox 360, and they even shared it with the press, which means you can see this interview with IGN and the lead producer of Minecraft Xbox 360, Roger Carpenter, talking about what makes this version special.
So we've built in a full-blown tutorial into the game, which takes people that are either familiar or want to have a quick update on the game, or just people who have never played it before. Gives them a quick in, shows them the basics, chop wood, how to create a crafting table, furnaces, how to build a shelter, that sort of stuff, just to get people in and as quickly as possible into the game.
This is not that tutorial world. Instead, it is actually one built by the same Roger Carpenter. Apparently, he was doing it over the course of the show to share with press. People did not realize how iconic the tutorial worlds would be, and so instead, the things they talk about as benefits of the Xbox 360 are...
We've also done a fair bit of work to improve, obviously it runs on a controller and stuff. Did some work on the crafting interface, so this is all new for the Xbox. Basically, we've taken the content of the PC wiki, the PC version's wiki, and brought it onto the console. So all the ingredients, every time we find a new thing, it all appears here. You can work out what it's going. It even tells you what it is, and you can just, it just makes it so much more easier to work out what you're doing.
This is an interesting thing to focus on, but of course, from a Java perspective, this is the biggest difference between it and the Xbox 360 port. But what's intriguing is the fact that, yes, the crafting system looks entirely different, not just to that Java version, but also to the end release and even TU0, with, as you can see, very old-looking crafting table tags. In fact, these are ones that are actually more descriptive. They have more items. Instead of simply showing you, as we do in the final release, a wooden plank, instead there are 3 different things that you can build, but they decided to simplify this massively, and honestly, I'm glad they did. This looks wonky and old by comparison, but this is the GDC 2012 version, and as it turns out, even though IGN didn't get to look at the tutorial, a Minecraft channel called MC Spotlights did, and they uploaded the entire thing, or at least 5.5 minutes of it, to YouTube. Looking through this footage, you can see something really weird happen once they finish looking through the shelter, because as they come to the end of the tutorial, you can see there's no Minecraft Minecraft logo in the sky, either in real life or in this little image telling them when they're ready to explore. This is hugely interesting because it looks as though they've gone for a tutorial world that has no Minecraft logo, despite the fact that we know an earlier prototype has one. But this isn't actually true. If you look later in this footage, you can see the tiny edge of one appearing. It's just way higher in the sky. So in this version, the Minecraft giant logo that is so iconic to many people's love of the game is just not visible if you leave your head looking towards the floor, which means that many people, even Minecraft channels, might miss it. This is certainly a great shame and one they thankfully fixed, perhaps based on seeing people play it, and that is the reason the playtesting is important. But this is the major press event for Minecraft. Obviously, this GDC build is quite well documented, but it's very hard to find out anything from before this. Or is it? It is at this point that I need to give some massive credit to Minecraft Digger, who as far as I can tell has done the most comprehensive research on these earlier versions of Minecraft, going as far as to working out which of them existed, which ones are ruined, which ones can be found, etc. And what's interesting about build 0035 is it's a very, if you see about this on the wiki somewhere or you hear about it, you might think like, how could we possibly ever know that this is build 35 and that is build 33? But interestingly, we have seen public footage of at least 4 Minecraft builds before it went public, and we can tell this because when you go to help and options and then controls, it says very subtly there in the bottom left corner 1.66.0035.0, and that is a version number truly befitting modern Minecraft. But it's interesting because this version number down here actually tells us that this is beta 1.66, the Minecraft Java version they were targeting, and then it tells us that this is build 35, at least presumably that's what we can work out from that. And so if we have any footage of any Minecraft version where they go into the controls like you do here, then you can actually tell which version or which build of Minecraft this is. So this is a build that was made in February of 2012, a month before GDC, and it seems as though the only publicly available version of it is a trial, but like the GDC build, there is no Minecraft logo up there. But intriguingly enough, unlike the TU0 build, wait, where's the way out? Oh, it's hidden behind these trees. There's just a lot of loose leaves here. But one of the interesting things about this is the fact that it doesn't have the giant floating Minecraft logo. And also, unlike the GDC build, this is a trial version. It seems as though the way this made it into people's hands, because this has been in people's hands since before Minecraft ever came out, there was some form of leak on the, if you had a modded Xbox in the early days of Minecraft, and so many Minecraft fans actually had access to this, but it is a slightly buggy version. It is not meant to be the final release. You can literally see through walls. Like, what even is that? Is that a sign over there? Why can I see it through so much? There are rendering bugs and awaiting approval. First of all, I love that bug exists all the way back here, but I'm so confused as to how it's written so clear through so many walls. There are rendering bugs. There is a memory leak bug, and of course it's just the trial, but it's very, very similar to the GDC build otherwise. You can see a giant Minecraft logo in the sky. You can see, although again, notably, just like with the GDC build, it's way higher up, and you can actually see from looking at it here that it's way further back. It's not directly above the entrance, it's back there. But one of the other things I wanted to test was, did Minecraft change on a technical level? We can obviously look at the crafting menu and see like, oh yeah, they changed this in quite a few ways. But if we get ourselves into a minecart, which will move at the slower, Java and now modern Bedrock speed, I guess we could say. Okay, let's make this work. It's been a while. How do I get in the minecart? Okay, I've got to wait for this tutorial to be done, I think. I want to ride, there's a button for it, but that's not a possibility. So I'll walk instead, it's not a far journey. Okay, I think it's hugely interesting that this close to release, February 1st for a game releasing May 9th, there are still critical game-breaking bugs that will ruin your experience of the game. This must have been very high pressure for the studio, knowing that they are about to ship something and it is a matter of time, but yet things are still breaking. But still, I think it's incredibly interesting that Minecraft Xbox 360 seems to have held up with the exact same technical limitations that it has in the main release. To prove that, here is the exact same look of here in TU0, and if we look towards the Minecraft area over here, you can see that we have the exact same render distance. Yeah, we can see that same little hill over there to the left. We can see not the Minecraft logo because it's moved further back, but you can see the bricks look the same, slightly white tinted. This is intriguing to me that despite the number of compromise. Also, wait, look at the skin. Do you see it in the top left? That's how crap. I've seen that file, go out there before. Now we know where it comes from. That's how Steve's crouched model was originally going to look. His knees are bending the wrong way. His body is okay, this is silly. But overall, yeah, this is a early version of Minecraft Xbox 360 that's fascinating, mostly because of the fact that it is very much finished in a lot of ways, but yet missing some very clear features. I mean, when you pause the game, instead of saying Minecraft Xbox 360 Edition, it says Minecraft. The menu is otherwise the same, but it seems as though it was a very late decision to decide to brand it not just as Minecraft on the Xbox 360, but as Minecraft, specifically the Xbox 360 Edition. And genuinely, on 4J's behalf, this is one of the smarter decisions they could have made, because it seems as though going for Xbox 360 unique branding really helped them in the long run. And interestingly, although they committed to calling it the Xbox 360 Edition, they still didn't fully commit to having their own version numbering system. I mean, even the TU19 trailer still clarifies that it's 1.6.4 from the Java Edition. It wasn't till much later that they abandoned that altogether, and so you can see that Minecraft had this almost identity crisis in the last few months of its release. Was it Minecraft for the Xbox 360, or was it a specific Xbox 360 edition? And I'm glad they made the right call here. However, because of that lack of confidence before the Xbox 360 port came out, one of the saddest things about this is that the older version, build 0033, so remember, this is build 35, so 2 versions before should be the oldest version of Minecraft that is out there and playable. And what's interesting is that this is not actually true. You see, the oldest copy of build 33 is, and the only archived version that exists and that you can find footage of, has been relabeled Minecraft Reloaded. You see, someone tampered with the original files, implying they had access to either the source code or at least were doing some very early versions of modifications, but they then took the Modern Craft texture pack and forced it into this original copy. This was done in a weird way, such that the mip-map versions, the ones you would see at a distance, do not actually use the correct blocks, so it just looks weird and wrong, and it might have been very cool at the time that this was Minecraft with custom textures and stuff, but actually, no, by the way, that is a direct quote from the description of it, but what's interesting is the fact that, yes, Minecraft's earliest build was ruined by someone trying to make a cool mod, and so this piece of history is now gone forever. The equivalent of someone, eating popcorn and making cheesy remarks going, "Oh no, you didn't," over an old copy of Doctor Who, and it's the only copy of that Doctor Who that exists. This is a wild thing, but it is the weird reality of older versions of games, and so the oldest version of Minecraft that is out there is cat-tampered, is not actually real, and so that is the sad reality of Build 33, the oldest version that exists publicly. But you might actually remember that Minecraft did do its little press tour for GDC, and it did a little bit of promotion just after the game came out, but they also announced the game to the world, and they let people play it at Minecon 2011. This was obviously not a version that ever got into people's hands or onto the Xbox Live network, but it is a version of the game that is publicly out there, and so let me show you what is actually
the very first public showing of, it's not the very first public showing, that's weird. Very first version we ever showed of Xbox 360 edition.
That's right, the same Roger Carpenter you heard doing an awkward interview earlier in this video, years later was running regular streams on the Minecraft Twitch, if you can recall all the way back then, and one of these streams showed off the Minecon build, which you can tell is the Minecon build because it says Minecon on the top left. This is a fascinating look into the past, and what's interesting is this was only really publicly available in footage, at least after the fact, via the Twitch page, which got taken down. However, thanks to the works of Minecraft Digger, it's actually been re-uploaded, and I'll leave a link to that. I'll leave a place for you to click on that to see that YouTube video and know where to find any files. down below, just to be clear here. Thank God we're safe again. But this is hugely interesting that you can see this old version, but what's weird about it is that from the perspective of the time, this is late console edition, 2018 if I'm not mistaken, the updated Quatic is being discussed, that from their perspective it's like, well, there's not a lot to do. They punch a sheep and they chop down some trees, but really because they're just playing the game, which is roughly based on the same Java version, 1.66, it actually doesn't look that hugely different besides small areas like the crafting, and so ultimately this is cool, but it's not really the bit that tells me the most. What does tell me the most is going to primary sources, because it turns out that even though this like secondary look from the time does exist, one of the more fascinating things comes from IGN. You see, they uploaded what they called a Minecraft XBLA commentary video from November 2011, where they're playing it for the first time, and they have a producer from Microsoft talking with them, and what I thought was interesting was what they had to say about why they were showing it.
Yeah, I mean, this is very exciting, you know, Minecon here. This is the very first time this is being shown to the public. And, you know, I think at this point right now, we're really here to just celebrate the fact that Minecraft is coming to the Xbox 360. And so what we're primarily focusing on at this event is the crafting interface, and there's been a lot of questions surrounding how that will translate from the PC to a console.
In fact, as far as I can tell, every interview done at the time has this as the primary thing that they want to talk about, like this one from GameSpot.
When you break up your inventory, you don't actually have your 2x2 crafting table. What we've done is we've made it easy to manage your inventory, and we added a little feature called Quick Swap or Quick Move.
This was the first time I realized that Quick Move was not meant to be in Beta 1.6 for Java, and indeed it came much later in Beta 1.9. It was only after this show that they actually added Quick Move to the Java edition, and so interestingly, it's a console edition feature that went to Java that I never realized about because to me, it was just always there in the game. Isn't that fun? I think so. Anyway, this is interesting because looking at this same crafting menu, you can see there are 8 tabs instead of 7. This is one of the big differences, and it's interesting that the thing they're putting so much effort into showing did actually change between here and the final game, but what's also interesting is this GameSpot interview actually does have them playing in the tutorial world, or at least it looks a lot like they are, because here you can see what is not just a tutorial house, but interestingly is the old tutorial house. Do you see that right there? That is a glass block hanging out inside of the tutorial.
It's the first time that Minecraft on Xbox 360 is actually playable, you know, right here with press, but it's going to be playable to the public this weekend.
Let's leave aside for now the debate about whether the miner's shelter looks better with or without the glass block, but instead look at this version and see some interesting things, like for example, when this saving message pops up, or any chat message, it looks way more like the Java edition. Combine this with the footage from Roger Carpenter, where they go to create a new world, and you can see it's the Minecraft logo, but also it's a very simplistic world name and seed option field. Really, you can see that this was a much earlier in development version, one where they were much closer to just deciding, look, we need to get that Minecraft Java stuff in there, let's just make it look like Java. The end decisions seem like they were mostly not about trying to, you know, like add features last minute, because it seems like those were all in there even 6 months before launch, but instead it was about refining and perfecting that console experience. Well, actually, it was about making some features work, because according to Roger Carpenter...
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it worked back then. My memory's so grey.
I love that. But you know, it does sound a little bit like he genuinely doesn't know, but it sounds like the fact that he's doubting it says that, yeah, early Minecraft didn't bother with adding the seed, because what difference does it really make? It's one of those things that doesn't change the fundamental experience. But yes, this was early Minecraft Xbox 360, and surprisingly, because of how big Minecraft was becoming at the time, it's actually pretty well documented, but there are no public versions. There is one that seems to exist somewhere in the Minecraft HQ, but this is the earliest version that people have played. Wait, that's not right. Even Roger Carpenter says the same on this same stream here.
It's not the very first version. There is a very first version, but and I did play it just before loading this one up, and I decided to go for this one because this one's a lot more stable.
However, there is no public record of this, and indeed we're talking about a developer version Or are we? See, here's where things get interesting. Because no prior public footage exists, at this point we have to take the word for whoever says they've seen the earliest version of Minecraft Xbox 360, and interestingly, there are 3 separate contenders. The first of these is Roger Carpenter, who on the 26th of May, to celebrate 10 years of him doing Minecraft, he says this is the earliest Xbox 360 screenshot that he has. As you can see, super early version, super kind of wonky, but then also, literally later that same year, for the 10 years, he says that this isn't the most exciting screenshot of Minecraft XBLA ever, but it was the first ever. So this could be the first screenshot, or this could be the first screenshot, but is this the first ever version that's publicly known? Well, it is worth pointing out that Capiche, who was one of the early Minecraft employees, says, guess what I got from 4J Studios? That's right, first super early version of Minecraft Xbox. There's no screenshot attached, but it does imply that the first version that made its way out of the studio was perhaps in September of 2011, and was this the version that Roger Carpenter played? Maybe Roger Carpenter, for being the producer of Minecraft Xbox, perhaps he had access to the earlier version, or is being one of the first employees at Mojang, does that give you the further rights? It's hard to say for sure, but the real first version of Minecraft was one that 4J put out there, and we don't know for sure if they have stored this anywhere, because it's not their right to share it with the public, because Minecraft is only partially their property, and so will we ever know about the earliest version of Minecraft? Well, the answer is it depends on if 4J feels like sharing it, and I think based on not having done so for the past 14 years, it seems unlikely, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Perhaps for the 14th or 15th anniversary, they could release that, although maybe there's a reason they haven't. I mean, I've been thinking about this far too much. Why is it that we've only seen 2 screenshots of Minecraft between the start of its development and Minecon of 2011? It does feel like there must be months and months and months of progress that for some reason has basically never seen the light of day, and after really overthinking it, I think I finally realized something that might be obvious to everyone else, but I think I finally realized why it is that Minecraft console launched with beta 1.6. This was a really weird decision, at least back in the day, because this was many versions outdated. Minecraft Java had released several updates since then, and the best justification was always that, like, well, it would be easier to port a version with fewer features than add more later. And at the time I thought, yeah, I guess if they were making it like Minecraft Java, they could just slowly add the features in the same order they would add it to Java, but now we know the way they are ported, and indeed, we know that 4J are a porting studio. Literally, when Notch announced it, he said they ported Oblivion to PS3, and it's 4J Studios who will be porting Minecraft. But when he tweeted that, he was talking about making a port, and so if this is a porting studio, and if we know from the source code the game is very much ported, maybe what we really have realized today is that the game only started being developed somewhere around this June 15th announcement from Notch. Indeed, you can tell by looking at the Minecraft beta versions that beta 1.6 launched in May 26th and beta 1.7 launched in June 30th. There is basically no additional difficulty in porting beta 1.7. It's the same update, just with pistons and sheep shearing. Indeed, it took them basically no time to add it later. The first content update for Minecraft Xbox 360, TU3 with the, if I'm not mistaken, the portal inside of the Minecraft logo, that was the update, and it came out very quickly. But yeah, it took them basically no time to do it, so why wouldn't they have done it in development? I always assumed that during development they slowly kept increasing the scope and bringing Minecraft up, but I think that just now, maybe something obvious to everyone else but not to me, is that Minecraft probably started being developed on the console somewhere between May 26th, beta 1.6 release, and indeed June 30th, the 1.7 release. I think that they just started with the source code of the readily available Minecraft version of the time, and indeed it would have made sense that they stuck with trying to release this because their original launch date was going to be winter 2011. This is a little known fact that's kind of lost to history, but Minecraft was originally planning to release on the Xbox 360 a full 6 months before it actually did. They decided that they wanted to spend some more time polishing it, but maybe the version that was there at Minecon was a technically complete product. It was ported, it was technically runnable, and it was fine to show to the public, but it wasn't finished in the ways that Minecraft, that 4J Studios wanted to actually be proud of it. And so I just had never considered until this video that the reason beta 1.6 was picked was because that was the version when they started development. And so really what we can say is, isn't it insane that Minecraft Xbox 360, the version that defined many a childhood, was developed in full in just 11 months, and 6 of those months were spent just on the niceties, which really were appreciated. All the quick swapping, or the tutorial, or all of these nice little changes to make it run just a little bit better. They're very much appreciated, and they almost weren't going to be there. Any other studio might have just launched the version from Minecon and said it's technically able to be played, and a lot of people will pay to do so, and they would have done so without launching all of the niceties that make it actually a great time on consoles, and that make it a unique community that indeed I feel like we've fostered here on this channel. I am amazed and a little bit shocked, and isn't it fun to look at these things with the benefit of 14 years of hindsight? But will we ever see an earlier version? Maybe not. Maybe none of them are actually playable in any meaningful way, but that doesn't mean that I'm not curious about what happened between May, or indeed early June, and indeed November for Minecon, but maybe we'll never find out. But isn't it a fascinating journey to how we got there? Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please do consider subscribing to stay up to date with the latest and greatest with Minecraft console, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.